So, okay, this is my interview with Lula Brink today. And welcome, Lula. I'm so grateful that you're here with me today.
Oh, this is a blast.
Yeah, it's so fun to see your face and your smile and your eyes instead of just hearing your voice. For me, this is awesome.
Good.
Okay, so just to give you a quick kind of cap of what we're going to focus on, I'm just going to ask you a few questions. We're going to keep it light and fun. And as you talk to me, I may just do a little work in the background or ask you some things to help you. Maybe it was something that you didn't even know you needed help with, but we want to keep it fun and airy. And do I have your permission to do these things today and record this?
Of course you do.
Okay. All right. So first of all, tell me something about yourself. The first thing that pops into your mind that I don't know about you. Something new.
That I love to belly dance.
Ooh, okay. So belly dancing. What do I know about belly dancing? I know that when we have energy and we're kind of getting stuck and say we're like in a place in life and we're maybe not breathing as deep as we need to, or we're just kind of like not wanting to take that next step forward, I know that movement is like something that really gets our energy flowing. So my question to you would be, when you belly dance or your movement starts to happen, do you feel things like start to break down? Like, tell me how that feels for you. Like, break it down a little bit.
When I belly dance, I feel free. I love the movement. I love the colors. I love the noise. I just become in my own little zone, doing my own thing.
So do you feel like when you are participating in belly dancing, are you doing it on your own, or are you doing it in a group with other women, or what does that look like?
For me, it's kind of a competition, but yet it's a participation in a group, because I feel like the whole group needs to be one, but I'm also in my own little world.
Within that group.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some things, because you're the guru master, so when you're in a belly dancing group with a class, how do you allow yourself to get in your own bubble? Do you have any actions that you notice you do with your hands? Do you have some breathing techniques? Like, is there anything there that you could give us some pointers on how to stay in your own space when you're in a group situation like that?
I allow myself to be myself. I allow myself to visualize the colors, to visualize the music, to actually do a form of meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So I become aware of my body, what it feels like, where I need to move. It becomes a reality to become something bigger than my physical body.
Okay, so you brought up the word meditation, and I think a lot of us feel like meditation can be scary, or it means sitting really still and not thinking, and I think we put a lot of walls around that. So would you take this belly dancing and actually say, yeah, this is a meditation for me, because it does turn, like, what is that for you meditation wise?
Meditation for me is probably different than most. I feel like once we become connected to, some people would say soul, some people would say spirit, some people would say physical. I don't think it really matters, but it's recognizing that when you go into like that zone of calmness, but yet it's a movement, it becomes like a meditation. So it starts to heal, it starts to bring you into a higher reality of your own value, because as you learn your own value, there's nothing that you can't do, and it gives you the pathway for your life so you can find your own true mission. Okay. I don't think people know how to meditate. I think that we think, okay, I need to focus on this, I need to do this, I need to sit down, I need to yoga, I need. But we need to turn our needs into ourselves with our own abilities and what works for us. I can meditate going down the road, just I'm just meditating, but I'm still aware of what is going on. But I'm connecting to that higher source so that I notice nature more, so that I notice more of the people around me. I have more clarity and I'm awake because so
Right.
many people now are asleep.
Okay, so I love that we're talking about this because I really do also agree with you. I think meditation does feel so heavy and hard, and that we can do it in any place at any time. And I think going into exactly what you're saying, that I'm doing something which is belly dancing that for me helps me have more clarity and kind of grounds me a little bit because I'm in my own space. My mind is focused on this belly dancing and this movement, which then also helps clear things out. And then the extra benefit of you're breathing heavier, right? Because your heart rate's up. So then we have all of the natural effects from breathing. And I think you even shared that with a group that we are on yesterday, that the breathing that we are not doing is severely detrimental to our bodies.
Totally. And if you stop to think about, maybe you're going to go to a yoga class, maybe you're going to attend something. Well, when we go into that yoga class, it's like we become small because who's looking at us? And what if we're not perfect? And what if we don't know that pose? And what if we get behind? And we have all of those fears and all of those thoughts. When you're willing to get into the zone and find yourself, and do the yoga poses for you and not for the whole class, then you become one with that energy in that class, and you become like a light to many instead of all of this fear, which is a heaviness. It's important to get into your own light and find that, no, I don't need this heaviness. I don't need that fear, and start to laugh at yourself. Even with the breath, you can do a laughing breath. It's fun.
Okay, so just to like back up a tiny little bit. So I'm someone and that probably compares myself more often than I should. And I think a lot of us are that way. And so for me to recognize that, hey, maybe I'm getting stuck here or not doing this for entirely the right reasons, meaning really just doing it for me, if I'm starting to feel that comparison, would that be a way for me to just kind of know that I am a little bit stuck, and to like that would feel kind of like being stuck if suddenly I was comparing like to her, or even in belly dancing, I'm comparing, I don't move like that, or I don't do this. Suddenly we are in like kind of a vicious, like stuck cycle, correct? Like for people that don't understand what that stuck feeling feels like, I think that's a great way to know that you're stuck. When you're comparing yourself to what someone else is doing, you've lost the whole point of why you're doing it.
Yes, there's a difference between competition and comparing.
Okay.
If you're comparing, you're in the other person's energy and you're thinking, what do they think about me? And I need to follow, and I need to do, and I need. But if you are competing, the competition comes from within, and it gives you a freedom to do the best that you can do and not worry. You don't have to worry, because this competition is just practice.
Right.
Life is a practice. We may not get to run through it again, but we have these experiences, and as we practice with the experiences, because sometimes we have the experiences that go around and around and around. But as we recognize it's a practice, we take out the emotions and we start to look at the story in a different way without all of the emotions. Life becomes life. It becomes fun. It becomes laughter. And is that not what we're all searching for?
Yeah, and laughter, and we all know that the present moment is just that. It's a gift and it's a present. And through doing some of these things that you're talking about, if we can get away from the comparison and maybe go into a competition mode with ourselves, then suddenly we are going above and beyond that, and that heavy room that we may have walked into, suddenly we're bringing up the vibration and the light of the entire room with doing nothing hard. All we've done is say, no, I'm going to be present and be here with myself. And in doing so, that kind of gets us unstuck and out of that heavy feeling, and we're moving different, and we're lighter, and we are bringing up the vibration of that room. And who doesn't want to feel that? Who doesn't want to have a little breath with a little laughter in it, and kind of get into being that little kid that is excited to go to this class? Like, we are working, I think a lot of us all day. So why is it that we need these classes or these things to do? And it's not necessarily about that. It's about finding something that you connect to, that brings you joy, that you can have your own space there so that you can get out of that feeling of stuck or heavy or comparison moment.
Or connecting to others, because
Yeah.
so many times we think we have to connect to others in order to feel good. We need to rob their energy. We need to be like them. No, we need to be like ourselves. We need to be silly. We need to be able to laugh. We need to be able to compete. And we need to be able to just be real. Because so many times we lie to ourselves, and these lies keep us captive in a fantasy. And this fantasy is full of fear and all of these things. But as we find the freedom to find the truth and the faith to walk our own path, everything starts to change.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome perspective, and such a good, genuinely happy place to be in for a lot of us. And I think there are times that we get in those places where we're just not sure what our path is or where to go with it. And exactly what you're saying, if we can just get back to that laughter, that little breath, and remember that that is who we are, and to not be afraid to be our unique selves. And if you laugh out loud and you're a loud, happy, fun person, and you're not doing that in a group situation where it's new and maybe uncomfortable, that we need to really take a look at that and say, why am I minimizing or pulling back with who I am in order to fit into a certain box? And I think that a lot of us tend to do that because of our fear of not being accepted, and again, going into comparison a little bit. But I think that if we all were to take a moment back, and even with yourself, like, I'm sure you have had experiences where you've tried to fit in and stayed quiet. And can you look at that experience versus when you're totally yourself and see how different you may feel there? Like, is there any experience you could think of right now to share with us?
Totally, absolutely. I was always told when I was young, sit in the corner, keep your mouth shut. And I did. And so as I started to grow older, I would go to church, I would go to school, and I'd sit in the corner, and I would be as quiet as a little mouse. And then one day it dawned on me, I don't have to keep my mouth shut anymore. And look at me now. I talk, and I love to talk. But up to that point, with the beliefs, with the traditions, and everything that was taught, a child is to be quiet. Well, a child is to be heard. Because if a child isn't heard, how can they possibly live their lives and share all of the enthusiasm and the boundless joy that they know, because they haven't been programmed into all of these beliefs? So I feel like children need to be given the advantage of talking, of being heard, and of being able to play, and just to be themselves. As we teach our children to become themselves, they learn a respect, they learn a kindness, they learn a calmness with an intelligence that no one else has the right to take away from them. So many times we want everybody to sit down, be still, be quiet. But in reality, do we not all have the right to be heard?
Right. Yeah, and that brings up an interesting point too, because I think even some of us that may be listening to this video, maybe they don't have children, but you do have nieces and nephews maybe, or a friend that has a child, but also that child within yourself. And I think that that's a good reminder, exactly what you just shared with us, that we can check in and say, why am I not expressing my feelings or sharing who I really am? Are you going back to that inner child that's afraid and has been told to sit still and be quiet? And then it gives you the opportunity to have that conversation with yourself and get yourself moving again and not feeling so trapped by those childhood beliefs.
Totally. It's letting those childhood beliefs just float away and it's facing the fears and it's walking the new pathways because it's time to grow. It's time to live in the now. It's just time to be ourselves. It's time to be.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the time right now has been interesting. We've all had some time to be quiet and kind of sit in our own space, more so with pandemic and things happening in the world. And I think it's been a good time for us to be reflective, and a lot of us have learned and experienced new and different things. And I agree with you. I think it's time to be. And I think that this type of process with interviewing and meeting people and talking through some things is going to help us all understand that maybe we're not feeling a little like good enough today to go to yoga or go do the belly dancing that I want to do. So with that being said, like what would you give us as a tip if we're feeling kind of like, this is something I love to do, but I just can't get there today. I'm too tired. I went and had a shotgun in my foot, for example, today. So I'm not going to maybe do the things that I know will bring me joy. Like what is a tip or something you could give us to help us get through those negative self-talk that we may have in our head?
I think that we all have the negative self-talk. We all believe that if we just sit, somebody's going to come along and take care of us. When in reality, as we recognize whatever happens to it, we still get up and move. We have to take the action. It's like with any program, even with weight loss, with yoga, whatever. If you don't get up and move, I see so many people say, I can't do this today. I have this, I have an ache, I have a pain. If you face that ache and that pain, if you face that fear and you still take action, even if it's just to go outside with your bare feet, even if it's just to breathe, just to use your tools, that's called an action. Because without the action, you're going to stay stuck and you're going to say, I can't. But in reality, you can.
Right. And I love that you brought up just getting outside, especially barefoot. I think a lot of us understand like when we do get outside or out of kind of the space that we've been in, maybe feeling down or unwell, I think that is a huge, like I'm a believer in that as well, that if I just get my feet naked, so to speak, and take them out and get them in the grass or in the dirt and just take a minute, it really does change everything. And then you have one foot in front of the other and you start to walk. And then like we talked about in the beginning of the interview, like just for you, that movement and just even that walking movement kind of gets those emotions and those feelings and move them through your body. And I think that's a lot of the time where we carry all of our stress and our daily kind of things that we attack ourselves with, so to speak, is by not moving, and how important it is to move and how important it is to get outside, even if it is just for a few minutes. It'll make a world of difference for you.
It's action, action, action. It doesn't matter if it's just breathing, get outside, it's called action. Once you take action, all of the other stuff starts to melt away.
It's awesome. Well, we are about out of time, and I appreciate so much of you being on here and answering some of these questions. I feel like this call will be super helpful to a lot of us, and it's fun to interview you because for me, you're the master. And I love that I get to learn constantly every day from Miss Lula, everyone. I will put her information on the bottom of this video so you can find links into programming and things with Lula. She is an amazing energy healer, intuitive, and personal life coach. So if it's something that you guys are looking for and needing to do, she is amazing. So thank you, Lula. I really appreciate you being on here today and wouldn't change it for the world. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Julie. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you.